Hello. Bye, guys. Enjoy. Good afternoon, everyone. How's everybody doing today?
Hey. Doing good, and yourself?
Good.
Good. I'm gonna do the Zoom meeting. Huh? I'm gonna do the Zoom meeting.
Hello,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good.
I just want to get started. We'll be starting shortly. In the meantime, how's everybody doing?
I'm okay.
Good. Give us 1 second. So we'll give it about a minute or two to get started. In the meantime, we had a couple of questions that we just want to pose that people can just answer while we wait. And so one of the questions was, has most of you all already picked your major? So if you want to go ahead and just write yes or no in the chat while we wait for others to join, you guys can answer that question in the meantime.
How do I share?
If you want to answer any questions that we might have, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. So if you see the chat function at the bottom, there's a toolbar. There's a function that says chat, and you're able to communicate with us and write anything that you want to write. If you have any questions or anything, we'll get to that a little bit later. But if you have any questions or if you want to share anything, you can go ahead and write it in the chat. So we'll start at 1:05. So in about a minute, we can go ahead and get started. All right, Marquise, you ready to get started?
I'm ready.
All right. So hello everyone, how's everybody doing? Hope everyone is having a great day so far. We are really excited that you guys have joined us today for this hour and a half, just so we can, connect with you all and just talk with you all. My name is Hannah Wilson. I am the Assistant Director of Student Engagement here at National Louis University.
And hello, everybody. How are you? Glad to see you all this afternoon. My name is Marquise Holyfield. I am the Associate Director of Student Engagement here at National Louis University. So we're excited to have you here. And we're doing a couple quick poll questions to kind of get us started. So it seems like a couple of you all have posted in. If you have not posted in, we're just asking the question around, do you already have your major? And if you do, you need to put yes in the chat. So it seems like, Hannah, most of the people in here say yes, they've already selected their major. And so we can go on with the next poll question.
All right, so the next question we wanted to ask everyone, we know that you all have picked your major. Has it ever crossed your mind, the school year just started, some of you guys have just started your academic career. So has it ever crossed your mind that potentially your major could change? And so that's another yes or no question that we would love for you to answer in the chat.
It looks like we got one yes and a whole bunch of no's.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting that we have a lot of no's. So it's exciting to see. So we're going to go to the next slide. Hold on. All right. We're going to go to the next slide. Go ahead.
So we wanted to tell you a little bit about what today's workshop is about. So you're probably trying to figure out, well, what is today's Discover You at NLU is? And so this is all about helping you to understand your passions, also understand your interests, and how your passions and your interests could lead you into your dream career. So you might have already picked it, or you may find out that this may be a little bit beneficial for you if you're still a little bit on the fence or don't quite know what you're going to do with your major yet and what career you plan to go into. So today we're going to do Hollis interest inventory. And so basically Hollis inventory, is a self-directed questionnaire that you will do that's all based around all your interests. What are you interested in? What are you passionate? What are your hobbies? What do you like to do? And how those things completely link you to what are the things that energize you, motivate you, but also interest you into what careers and things that you can do in your future. But also, we also have it connected to not only to your majors, not only to your career goals, but also what student organizations are available on campus that meets those needs, what leadership opportunities that we have on campus that meets those needs. So helping to really discover who you are. So what we're going to do is have everyone we're going to go to our next slide and have everyone take the quick assessment. It literally will take you 10 minutes to do it. So if you have your phone next to you, you can do the QR code and use your phone and just scan it with your camera, and it will take you directly to answer. Literally, there are 42 questions. It will take you less than 10 minutes to answer these 42 questions because some of the questions won't pertain to you. So, and Hannah's gonna put it in the
Actually,
chat.
already, if you see on the screen also, there's a link. So if that's easier for you, you can definitely put the link. I already put the link in the chat, but I will go ahead and repost it in the chat for you as well. So either one of these ways, you can access the quiz. And like she mentioned before, the quiz is very simple and it should only take you no more than 10 minutes to complete the quiz.
Yes, and the key factor when taking the quick quiz is go with your first answer. Go with your first mind. It's not a whole lot of deliberation.
No dwelling.
No, it doesn't take a whole lot of things to do. The questions that they're going to ask you, you're going to know immediately either this is something I like to do or it's something I don't like to do. This is me or it's not me. And then, so the key factor is when you're taking the quiz, if it's you, you're going to fill it in because that's how you identify or what it is that you like. If it's not you, what you will do is you don't answer the question, you leave it blank. Super easy. If it's something that you like to do, you color the box in because that's you. If it's something that you don't like to do, you just leave it blank, go to the next question.
Once you finish at the bottom, just press the I think it's turn in your answers, and then once everyone's completed, then we'll go ahead and assess all of our answers.
And when you're finished, can you do the thumbs up reaction to let us know that you're done with it? If you are just joining us, you will see on the screen that we are in the process of taking a quick assessment. There are 42 questions, so you can either use your phone or you can get the link that's in the chat and do it on your computer. The way you fill out the assessment is if that question pertains to you, you fill in the little box or put the X on it. If it does not pertain to you, you go to the next question, you leave it blank. Let us know if you have any questions. You can drop them in the chat. And there's no right or wrong answers. It looks like right now we have one person that says they're done. How's everybody else doing? If you're done, I need you to give us a thumbs up, put the thumbs up reaction, or let us know that you're done in the chat.
Look like we have 4 people done so far.
Got 5. I'm gonna give you the rest of you all a couple more minutes.
Again, because I think I just saw a one person to get just added. So if you did recently just get added, we have a QR code up that'll take you to a quiz that we're doing right now. It's very straightforward. Just go ahead and answer the questions. All you have to do is press all the ones that resonate with you, all the ones that you feel you identify. You just press that particular answer, and then when you're finished, you just press the submit button.
It looks like everybody is just about done. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the next slide.
Okay, perfect. So if you are finished, once you have submitted, it should have given you 3 dimensions. But before we dive into the dimensions, we want to go over the dimensions because I'm pretty sure you guys are like, what is this? Like, I've never seen this. So we want to make sure that you guys fully understand what those dimensions are before we actually dive into kind of talking about them and kind of just coming together to discuss what these dimensions are and how they resonate with us individually. So There are 6 dimensions. So once you completed the quiz, it provided you with your top 3 dimensions. So we're going to go over each dimension and also kind of talk about how that dimension is connected to the institution and how you can utilize that and how that institution, that dimension allows you to get involved in certain things on campus as far as student organizations, leadership opportunities, even how it's connected to your major, how it can also connect to certain careers that you might be interested in the future. And then we're also going to talk about how even though your top dimension might be one thing, you still utilize other dimensions as well. So we're going to kind of talk about how we can connect those dimensions as well. So me and Marquise are just going to go back and forth kind of discussing and describing what they are. So the first one is realistic. So when you look at realistic, most people who have that as their top dimension pretty much like to work with their hands. They like mechanical activities. A lot of athletes have a top realistic dimension. They like to get their hands dirty. They like to really be outdoors. They like to work with their hands. They really like to get out there and work with actual things. So most people who have that realistic top dimension, those are usually the type of interest they like. They really like to get out there and get dirty and really work with their hands. Like I mentioned, mechanical activities. Usually athletes are usually really have that top realistic dimension.
Mm-hmm. And then the next one is investigative. So you enjoy asking questions, intellectual questions, investigating answers, getting answers to your question, using scientific methods, but you also enjoy science and math activities, anything that allows you to do any type of inquiry or analyze data, so forth, or kind of learn something about something new. That is what you enjoy most about being investigative.
All right. So the next one is artistic. So usually people who have the top dimension as artistic usually seek opportunities to express themselves. So they like creative writing, music, drama, dance. They really like to kind of express themselves in their work. So usually anyone who has a top dimension of artistic ability, they usually like to express themselves in some way or another.
Okay. And the next one is social. So you are our helpers. You love to help people. You love to teach, to guide, to counsel, being a service to others. That brings you pleasure. That brings you happiness. Those are our social people.
And then the next one is enterprising. So these are people that like to talk. These people like to persuade people. They like leading. They like taking risks. They're action oriented. These are individuals pretty much who like to persuade people, to buy things or to get things or to change their mind about something. Those usually have a top enterprising dimension.
And the last one, but not least, is conventional. These are our very organized, detailed, oriented individuals. They like to follow the rules. They like to follow procedure. They work with data. They love that data piece. They're the person that kind of likes to go not necessarily with the flow. They like to have everything laid out, detailed, scheduled, ready to go individuals.
And I think the illustration that we have on the screen, I think it's really good that summarizes each one in one word. As you look like our artistic person has that more creative ability. Investigative are thinkers, enterprising are persuaders, realistics are doers, socials are usually helpers, and conventional are usually organizers. So I think if you had to summarize each one of them in one word, this illustration picture that we have on the screen definitely does a good job with putting each one into one word. All right. So our next slide pretty much breaks down each particular dimension and how it connects to the institution, because we really want to talk about how you can actually fit in at NLU. So as a realistic person, a person who are often good at, mechanical and athletic jobs, how can you get involved at NLU? what are some student organizations that we have on campus that, based on realistic being one of your top dimensions, what could I get involved on campus? So ways you can get involved on campus is being involved in some of our more athletic student organizations, like the NLU Volleyball Club, NLU Basketball Club, the Boxing Club, Dale 312, or even getting involved in the Student Veterans Association. Some of our leadership opportunities could be the CSIS mentors, our Golden Eagle Leaders Program, and even our Wellness Warrior Program as well. Usually individuals who have a top realistic dimension, usually some of the majors that they are interested in, or this usually is their major, is like computer science, criminal justice, hospitality management, as well as communication. And if you want to take some occupations to explore, occupations like food service technician, law enforcement officer, computer hardware technician. And we also want to touch upon ways that we can connect these all together. Because like we mentioned before, we really want you to take a look at your top 3 dimensions. So usually a person who is a food service technician, realistic might be one of their top 1, but then their next one might be investigative. Law enforcement, realistic but enterprising. Computer hardware technician, realistic, but then also social. So also when you're thinking about occupations, think about all 3 and how you can connect yourself with all 3 of those dimensions.
Okay. And then I noticed one of the questions in the chat was, how can they learn more about NLU volleyball? So
Okay.
all of the different student organizations that we have listed here is also on Eagle Life. So if you go to, and I'll put it in the chat too, it's nl.presence.io. You log on, you click on organizations. It shows you all the different organizations that we currently have on campus, and how to join the organization. You can click the join button, and then you can also contact the president of that organization to learn more about it. I can tell you right now, a lot of our physical, like boxing, volleyball, basketball, and Dell 312 is our dance club. Those organizations, our physical ones, unfortunately, they're active, but they're not doing a whole lot as around the physical pieces due to COVID. So you can find out many different ways of how they're doing things, what other activities are they doing, that necessarily doesn't have to have, that can be good socially distance activities, but not necessarily together. So that's one good way for you to figure out more about the different student organizations on campus. And then one of the caveats I wanted to say with this is, we had limited space on our slide. When we look at occupations, there are a plethora of occupations. When we look at majors, there are a plethora of majors. So there's a lot of different other opportunities that you can find that fit within these categories. And if you want more information on a specific category that's not listed here, Hannah and I will share with you the other exhausted list of majors and occupations to explore. But due to space, we didn't want to overwhelm you all with a lot of text. Okay. We'll go on to the next one. So investigative, of course, like we said, investigative are our thinkers. And so these are people who like to work together with people rather than things. And so ways to get involved is our NLU Science Club. So we have an NLU Science Club you can join. One of our other ones is one of our Greek organizations, Alpha Phi Alpha. They have a lot of different social pieces, but they also have a lot of investigative pieces as well, where they're working with individuals versus things, helping out in the community. Some ways to get involved as far as leadership opportunities is our Wellness Warrior Program, our Go to Eagle Leaders, and then we also have something called the Social Justice Institute. So twice a year, in the summer and as well as the winter, we have a Social Justice Institute where we learn different social justice principles, practices, and concepts. Can also help you with your investigative working with people piece. And of course, when we talk about the different majors, we have computer science, criminal justice, psychology, and then some of those occupations to explore is computer programming, forensic science technician, psychologist, many more. And if you notice, again, like we said before, you have your top 3. So you can see if you have I for investigating, but you also have E for enterprising, computer programming, those two work together very well. If you also have forensics, if you have I for investigating, then you have R as your realistic, and C for conventional. Forensic science technician, maybe something that you may be interested in, works well together. Same thing for psychology. You can have I for investigating, A for artistic, because it allows you to have those creative abilities for artistic, and then S for social. So you can see how combinations here allows you to what we call intertwine different opportunities and different aspects of all three of what your actual dimensions may be that combine you into one specific job.
All right. The next one is artistic. So like we mentioned before, these people like to work in unstructured situations. They like to be very creative. So on campus, some of the student organizations that you can get involved in is our international club, our NLU book club, which is going on right now. Actually, we're reading one of Stacey Abrams Brooks. What's the name of it, Marquise? So we can let them know.
It's Our Time.
It's Our Time. So we just had our first session on yesterday, so there's still plenty of time to get involved in our NLU book club. We meet on Mondays at 1 o'clock. Some of our leadership opportunities are Golden Eagle Leaders, our Wellness Warrior program, which is just starting this year as well, so we're really excited about that. And then just also some majors to consider, marketing, education. Education can be, broken up as well into elementary education, any sorts of education areas you can definitely use as well, communications, as well as human services. Some occupations to explore, we have advertising, account manager, and again, just to kind of put all of that together, your top dimension might be artistic, but also enterprising as well. Broadcast news analyst, another way to put them all together, artistic, enterprising, as well as social. Urban regional planner, artistic, investigative, and then public relations director. You could have artistic as well as enterprising. So like we mentioned before, these are just a few majors to consider. These are just a few occupations to explore. There are many of occupations and many of majors that you can be considered for all of our dimensions, but these ones will be more associated with individuals who have a top dimension of artistic.
Okay. And then social, like we said, these are the individuals, their name are helpers for many reasons. They rather work with people than things, but they're generally interested in working with groups, sharing responsibilities with others. They can be able to inform, enlighten, train, cure, help people to live up to their potential. They love solving problems, discussing through dialogues, working with others, coming to a consensus on a particular topic. They used to prefer to work with abstract ideas and problems. So these are our social folks. So as you see, our social people, there's a plethora of different student organizations that you can join if as social is one of your top number one. So we have our Black Student Union, we have our International Club, we have Built by Women, which is one of our female focus, if you identify as female or if you identify as woman, organizations. Then we have our Eagle Brotherhood, which is also one of our, if you identify as male, organizations as well. Then we have NLU Counseling, we have Exuberance, which is another, if you identify as female, looking for a sisterhood type of organization. Then we have a couple of sororities, Sigma Gamma Rho, which is one of our historically Black sororities, Gamma Phi Omega, which is one of our historic Latino sororities. Also for our fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha again, Student Veterans Association, NLU Book Club, Education's Rising, and so many more organizations that you can see that we have there, NLU Entrepreneurs Club. And then some of the leadership opportunities is the Student Assembly Board Association. So you're probably trying to figure out, what is the Assembly of Student Association? So think about your own student government. So we have our own student government that's comprised of 17 different members of our community, from undergraduate students all the way up to doctoral students, from online students all the way to class presidents for our undergraduates, college representatives, and campus representatives all the way in Florida as well. Then you have Golden Eagle Leaders, which is our leadership program that helps, which forms you to develop your leadership skills across the board, whether you're a beginning leader or advanced leader. Then we have our student council, student advisory council board, which is specifically in our undergraduate college. So where you can talk to some of the needs and supports that undergraduate students may need, and you get to talk to the dean to talk a little bit more about those. And then we have our Social Justice Institute we talked about before, Wellness Warrior, and then majors to consider. So education all the way from special education to elementary ed, all the way to higher education, different pieces, all of those things you have the opportunity to do. Early childhood, psychology, human services, all of those different things you can think about around majors for social, psychology, counseling, all of those things, mental health pieces. As you can see, some of the different opportunities is from human resources, from marriage therapist to probation officer, special education teacher. And as you see how when we look at when you look at human services manager, you see that it's social and then it's enterprising. So you key and see how your top three are intertwined together to help you to build up what your interests are, and there's many different options for you. So same thing for marriage and family therapists. You could be social, artistic, and investigating. Those are good ones for you. Probation officer is social, enterprising, and conventional, and the special ed is again social, investigating, artistic. So it just really depends on how it all falls to kind of help you to think about the different things that you're passionate about and enjoy, and what kind of brings you life. Many different opportunities available.
So the next one is enterprising. And so these are people that are, good talkers. They like to use their skills to lead and persuade people. These people usually also value, power, reputation, status, and they usually like to go after it. And these are people that like to work with data as well. So at National Louis University, some areas that you could potentially think about joining as far as student organizations is our NLU Entrepreneurs Club, again, Alpha Phi Alpha, and Sigma Gamma Rho. So these are two Greek organizations. Leadership opportunities is our Student Assembly Board, which is new this year as well. Student Council Advisory Board, our Golden Eagle Leaders, as well as our Social Justice Institute. And then some of our majors to consider would be business administration, which could also involve, management, marketing, accounting, finance. All of those are under business administration, as well as culinary, because we do have Kindle here as well. So, if you want to take classes at Kindle, or if you are a Kindle student, a lot of times people who are working in that food industry also are have a top dimension of enterprising as well. So occupations to explore, we have advertising, sales agent. Again, the top three dimensions usually for that individual are enterprising, conventional, and artistic. We have chef, which is enterprising, realistic, and artistic. An event planner could be enterprising, conventional, and social. And then we have social resource manager, again, which would be artistic, enterprising, social, and conventional.
And then last but not least, of course, we talked about our conventional people. They're very detail-oriented, very organized, like to work with data. So they're generally interested in activities that require attention to organization, data systems, detailed data accuracy. They work well in large organizations that use information to solve efficiency problems. So if they want to be efficient in some type of way, these are those individuals. They carry a preference for things that are in details and thorough and following through and instructions, and they like to follow the rules. They prefer structured situations and could be ambiguous ones, so they don't like ambiguity at all. They like everything to have a very structured, linear type of way. And so, again, you can think about different organizations is the Entrepreneurs Club, Alpha Phi Alpha, Golden Eagle Leaders for leadership opportunities. The CSI IS Mentor is the Computer Science Information Systems Mentor that is available. So if you are in the computer science program, you might want to reach out to your counselor, your advisor, to learn more about the Computer Science Mentor program, to see if you can join and be a mentor in that leadership role. When we talk about the different majors, there's business administration, computer science, but also want to throw some other ones out there. There's accounting, there's computer science, there's e-commerce technology, economics, finance, information assurance and security engineering, information technology, management information systems, network technology, real estate statistics. Those are some of the other different majors to consider. And then when we start to look at some of the different occupations, you have business education teacher, so that's what that C for conventional, E for enterprise, and then S for social. Mathematics teacher, C for conventional, I for the investigative. Budget analyst, the C for conventional, E for enterprising, I for budget investigating for a budget analyst. But there's also a plethora, so you can be an accountant, you can be an auditor, you can be an archivist, you can be credit manager, copy editor, database administration, health administration specialist, immigration and customs inspector, insurance underwriter, multimedia collection specialist, nursing home administrator, paralegal, risk management, all these other different pieces when you think about if conventional is your top one. And so it's easy to kind of think about all the different ways they're intertwined. So what we wanted you all to really think about, as in a few minutes, we're going to ask you kind of share with us what were your top three, and see what questions you have, and see was there anything that surprised you and engaged you. But we want you all to think about it, not just looking at just your top one, but look at them at all three of them and see which ones in the 3 different categories that really appease you, really thinking about how you can take your career, transform your career. One of the things that you all will learn is that you will start your degree with one thing. Most people, some people finish with the degree that they majored, the choice that they came in with. Some people switch it up, and then they work in that particular career once they graduate for a number of years, and then they switch into a whole different field. And so this is where it's key and important for you all to know what that whole other different field could possibly be. What are some of my other interests? What are some of the things that I can take my particular degree and use it in some other avenues based on my interests? What's going to bring me passion and so forth. And the main purpose for us really to help you do this, not only for you to know a little bit about NLU and how it all connects with your major leadership opportunities and student organizations, but also helping you to realize that it's important that when you start to think about your career and what it is that you want to do it from the heart. You want to do it with your passion, what you enjoy, and not necessarily on what's going to make you the most money. And I know you're probably thinking, Marquise, why are you saying that? It's the opposite. It should be the opposite, right? No. And I'm just going to tell a quick anecdote. I had a friend of mine when I was in undergrad. She was a mechanical engineer. She was making over $100,000 a year. She had been in the job for 5 years. After 5 years of being on the job, she didn't like what she was doing. She hated her job. Then she looked at what her boss was doing. She didn't like what her boss was doing. She looked at what her boss's boss was doing and didn't like what they were doing either, and came to realize that she started to not want to go work every day. She started to be fatigued, tired, stressed out, irritated a lot. She was making a lot of money, but she hated the job. It wasn't passionate. It wasn't fulfilling for her. So she ended up leaving a $100,000 job to make probably about a little way less than half of what she was making, so that she could go back to school and get her master's in public administration, where she was only going to make, starting out at that time, about like $50,000 a year. But she was the happiest she was. She enjoyed what she did. She enjoyed the passion. So you want to think about, as you start to think about careers and jobs, and the next level is, what is the thing that's going to sustain me, that no matter how I feel, that I'm going to be excited to get up and go to work every day, that I'm going to be excited to work with the people that I work with. I'm going to be excited, and it's going to be meaningful and purpose for me to get the things done that I want to do, versus how much money is going to bring me. Because if you're working 60, 80 hours a week, but you don't have time to spend the money, is it effective for you? So you have to think about the idea of the quality of life. Do you want to be, you know, you have to think about all the different things that brings you life and brings you passion, that's going to aid and support in your life and not take away from your life, even if the big benefit is that it brings in a lot of money.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and kind of talk about our results. So hopefully everyone took the quiz. Everyone has their top 3 dimensions. Everyone has, not many of us on here, so I think it would be great if all of us can go ahead and share. And when you share the dimensions, kind of, you know, talk to us about, did anything surprise you? I think me and Marquise can talk about ours as well, because we actually took the test again just recently while we were preparing for this. In my top 3, and it's crazy, but ours were the same. But my top 3 was social, enterprising, and artistic. And when I really went through the list and kind of analyzed each one of those, they all 3 resonated with me perfectly. My undergrad degree is in marketing, and a lot of times individuals that have a more of a, you know, enterprising and social dimensions usually have those type of degrees. But then also I have a counseling degree as well, which is a top occupation with individuals who have a top dimension of social. So when I look at what I do for a living and when I look at, you know, what I like to do, it's clearly shown in this particular assessment that I'm really into, you know, marketing. I'm really into artistic things. I like my job. I like being able to interact with students. And I like the fact that my job does encompass sometimes marketing, sometimes being creative, sometimes, you know, creating things, but also being that helper individual where I can help students and connect with students, you know, on a daily basis. So when you look at tying it all together, not just looking at your top, you know, dimension, which for me would be social, but looking at all 3 when you're thinking about how I want to get involved or what type of occupation I want to do or what type of major I'm interested in. Not just looking at your top dimension, but looking at all 3 across the board. Marquise, you want to share yours?
Sure, mine. Okay, just like Hannah, mine is social, enterprising, and artistic, and we kind of laughed a little bit about that. So when we really think about, when we look at the social piece, my undergraduate degree is in actually English literature. So it's that piece where I like to read, I like to, all of those different analyzing characters and thinking and so forth. It's funny about that. And then my master's degree is in counseling as well, like Hannah. So I like to help people, but also I'm the person that likes to, we talked about social, you like to think things through, you like to discuss problems through dialogue. And that's one of the things that I love to do. And then with my creative side, with the artistic, piece comes from, actually that English teacher is that artistic side that comes from that piece. My social side comes from my counseling piece. And then when we look at enterprising, that piece comes from the idea of like leading, persuading, and management. So what I do here at National NLU is, one of my primary jobs is leadership development. So a lot of like Golden Eagle Leaders workshops and some of the social justice workshops and things I've created and so forth. So I like leading people, enhancing people, persuading people to think differently, to encourage them to think out of the box and develop critical thinking skills around where they can go and how they can be better and maximizing your potential. So that's key to who I am. And it's funny how all of those 3 things put together encompass all the different things and versatility of my job. So I get to plan events and do all the fun stuff, all the creative pieces, and put all the creative designs together and so forth. But then I also get to create creative workshops and curriculums and so forth for us to participate in. And then also get to lead and to share information and have these great dialogues and conversation and within my job as well. So it's key and funny how we have the same thing, but our degrees are, 2 of our degrees, well, one of our degrees is similar, but the other degree is not similar. And our jobs have similar but very different functions in how we kind of put together.
Perfect. So who would like to share? Who would like to tell us their top 3 dimensions? Did it surprise you? or was it right on the money as far as what they were and, what you do, what you see yourself doing in the future? Anybody like to share?
You can also put it in the chat.
Yeah.
So if you can't, if the space where you can't talk, you can definitely put it in the chat. Okay.
I had a question.
Go ahead.
Where do we find our top 3 dimensions? Because I was directed to my first, but I couldn't find. How do we find the 2 under?
So if you scroll down, like if you scroll, it gives you all 3.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna work on that and then I'll come back.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Margaret, hopefully that answers your question as well.
And if you only have your top 1 right now, you can definitely, let us know what your top dimension was.
I'll go.
Okay.
So mine was social, and a lot of the categories you guys kind of listed under got me really excited. I guess my main question is kind of with COVID, because my program is, I guess, 2 years, so I've just began at National Louis. So I mean, hopefully this won't extend to the end of my 2nd year, but in any case, what do you guys kind of recommend in terms of getting involved amidst the pandemic?
Yeah. So there's a bunch of different things you can do. So like if you're looking for leadership opportunities, Golden Eagle Leaders actually start. I'm sorry. If you're looking for leadership opportunities, our leadership opportunities actually just started. So Golden Eagle Leaders actually starts this coming Thursday. So you can get to sign up for that. And I put it in the chat. How you can sign up for that is a great way for you to kind of get involved and meet new people. But if you're strictly thinking about different student organizations, if you look, like I said, again on Eagle Life and click on the different organizations, a lot of our student organizations are actually doing events. They're doing virtual events, and some of them are doing small in-person events too. So some of them are doing meet and greets, some of them are doing different activities, some of them are doing like small paint and sips. It just, excuse me, it really just depends on the different organization and what it is that you want to join and what is passionate to you. And like I said, on that function, on Eagle Life, where you click on the organization and their organizations are in alphabetical order, and then you click on the organization and find out how you learn more about it and join. They have an About Me section, and then they have a join button, and then they also have a contact button where you can contact and email someone directly and say, well, when are you guys meetings? What are you guys doing in the virtual season right now? So a lot of organizations are still doing things even though COVID is happening.
Okay.
And I'm going to put that stuff in the chat right now.
So we have a couple people in the chat who kind of express their, top dimensions, and it's pretty different for everyone. We have Joanne, I hope I'm not saying your name, I'm saying your name properly, but her top 3 were social, enterprising, and conventional. Doris had social, artistic, and investigative. We also had Sabaraya Malik, I hope I'm saying that properly as well. Artistic, investigative, realistic. So these are some of the different dimensions that we have. If you want to also share with us your dimensions, feel free to let us know. Someone else just posted that theirs was social, enterprising, and conventional. So for the people who shared so far, or if you didn't have the opportunity to put it in yet, was that surprising for you? Or was that like right on the money for you? Did you think that your top 3 would have been something else? Or did those 3 actually resonate with you?
I'm sorry, I got ETA.
You said you got
ETA.
ETA.
Yeah.
So E is probably enterprising, A is probably artistic. You sure it's T?
Yeah, it says T. I could share my screen if you want to see.
So Doris said all three were on spot. Okay, cool. Do you mind telling us what your major is? Was your major in that category as well?
My major is psychology.
Your major is psychology.
So I'll look in that for you to kind of see what the T is. I'm not sure why T came up, but we'll look into that.
Yes. What about you, Doris? Does it align with your major at all? Your top three? Doris says yes. She's currently working in early education, so hers are brought on. See, works out great.
So I wanted to ask, what's her name? Sabahaya Malik. You said that your major is baking and pastry, and so investigative was a bit surprising. Was that your top one, or was that within your top three? So we'll wait for her to answer. In the meantime,
within her top three, the second one. So what was the first one?
so her first one was realistic. And that actually makes sense when you think about it, because they said that a lot of realistic people like to work with their hands. They like to get your hands dirty. So you might not be getting your hands like dirty as far as outside. But when you work in pastry and, you know, desserts and stuff like that, you definitely are working with your hands, and you definitely are getting your hands messy. So I think that that being your top one definitely makes sense for someone who is into that particular work.
Yeah, and then the investigator part, you have to really think about it. It says that they're generally related to activities related to science and math, and you have to think about it. When you're baking and pastry, you
All
have to know like the right science to how much flour, how much sugar, how much pressure to put into something. So you may not think of it in a scientific way, but it and of course, as you get really good with it, you start to investigate and discover new ways to make your all your calculations you got to use. And then if you think about it too, when you start to really get good at your craft, you start to get a little creativity in there. So you start to investigate different ways that you can mix something else together and come out with a new piece. So you may think, oh, my creativity should come into play. True, but it's also investigative because you're really thinking out of the box of like, well, how do I make a better German chocolate cake, or how do I make a better apple pie? You know, like, so your investigative pieces in that is coming to play in that as well.
I don't think we mentioned Jermaine. She kind of talked about hers. Hers was right on the money as well. And she was not surprised as far as her major is early childhood education administration. So just want to mention that one. Doris, currently working in education. Perfect.
So did anybody learn about a new career path that fits with your interest that you didn't even think about? So it was either right spot on, or it was like, oh, I never thought I could take this and do this with this. Did anybody else find that?
No,
Okay. See, very good. Doris said she wants to look into that business education teacher. Right. Sounds interesting. Perfect. Anybody else that a new one came up for you and you was like, oh my goodness, I didn't even think about that.
Did anybody learn about some additional ways that they can get involved on campus? Okay.
Ah, that's very good. And I just, hopefully I'm not messing up your name. It's Safia says that she's currently pursuing a master's in early, okay, hold on, let me find it. Master's in elementary teaching, but found family and marital counseling very interesting. And see, they all come together. And okay, Margaret said that for the different opportunities, the book club is appealing, and then we'll put book club information in there.
Yeah.
And then Jerry Ann talks about Eagle Life, being able to find out the different organizations and where to get involved. And then Danielle talked about during her undergrad, I didn't enjoy the journey, but there's so much to do at NLU. See, we're glad.
That's glad to know.
That's part of why we're doing this, to help you all. You know, it's hard during COVID right now when you are a student who didn't get to do some of the traditional ways to get involved and get engaged. And we just wanted to make sure that we find an opportunity for you to kind of know what's out there, how to get involved and get engaged, but also how it relates to your career and your passion. Okay. So it seems like there's a lot of different opportunities, from boxing club, volleyball, go to Eagle Leaders to be very appealing, book club. So are there any new, like we talked about some of those, so outside of the ones that were mentioned, are there any other new career paths that you might want to look into, that you might want to find more about?
She says, I'm all set.
Okay, that's great. Okay. So to kind of answer some questions, I'm going to put the information in the chat about the book club. So it's every Monday. The first Monday was actually yesterday. We did the introductions, chapter 1 and 2, on yesterday. And then on next Monday, we have chapters 3 and 4, and I'm leading that discussion. And I'll put this, the link, the Zoom link in the chat for you all, so you can definitely catch up. It's open conversation. We have questions and so forth. We talk about the book. We talk about some of the things, how it relates to us personally and what's going on right now in our society. So it's a really good conversation where you can really just come and just kind of join and learn a little bit more.
Perfect. I think we can go to the next slide. And pretty much the next slide, Marquise really touched upon it already when she talked about her friend, and just making sure you choosing jobs that not necessarily just fits your interest, but making sure that you're paying attention also to like your skills, you know, your personality and your values. And she really talked about, you know, your values, because sometimes you think you want this job because you know for a fact it's going to bring you so much money, but at the end of the day, is money all that is is all that you think about when you think about having to get up and go to work every day? Are you seeing value? Are you seeing enjoyment in your work? Because at the end of the day, sometimes that fulfillment of money only lasts a certain period of time. And then after that, it's like, okay, I'm making this money, but do I really value and do I really feel like I can get up every day and go to work? So making sure when you're thinking about, when you're looking for careers and when you're looking for jobs, yes, pay attention to, the interests and what you like to do, but also making sure that you are building the skills. If there's skills that you need for this particular job, making sure that outside of that, you're also building up those skills, thinking about your own personality, and then also making sure that you're assessing your values. What do you see yourself being able to do every day? To make sure you're paying attention to all three of these categories when you think about career exploration. Anything else you want to add, Marquise? I think it's really, like, again, we talked about on campus. We're really excited that we really wanted to make sure that we bring out different ways you can get involved on campus. So we're really excited about you guys really thinking about getting involved in the book club, getting involved in Golden Eagle Leaders, our wellness program. Like we mentioned before, we are in COVID, but we've been working really hard making sure that we're still providing you all with very good virtual events as well. So probably a good idea to put the maybe the link to Golden Eagle Leaders or the Eagle Life presence as well.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat again.
Okay, perfect. Just so that you can see also too. I always tell students, like, if you want to know what's going on every day when you wake up in the morning, because it's an app as well, so you can download the Eagle Life app, get on the app that morning and see what you can get involved in at NLU that day. I'm just going to put the Eagle Life presence link in the chat so that you can have easy access. And like I mentioned before, download the app so you can have easy access to all of the things that we have going on campus. We update it on a regular, so it's always full of what's going on campus. Yes, thanks so much, Danielle, for letting everyone else know that the app is awesome, and they also add the Zoom links. Yeah, we do add the Zoom links as well. So if any event and it's happening on Zoom, you can find the Zoom link in the app. And also when you go to the website as well, you'll see the Zoom link.
Okay. I am putting it in there, letting you know that it can be found, the app can be found in your Play Store or Apple Store, and it's one word, Eagle Life. But it's a cool way for you to be able to get involved in it and get engaged. And the other thing is to think about is like knowing your interests is like what Canna talked about. It's only the beginning part. Your personality comes to play, your values, your skills, your interests. Also, you want to think about too, what you'll learn in Golden Eagle Leaders is we do a workshop on professional identity in the workplace. One of them is on values and skills. So how do you look at your values and skills and figure out what aligns with the job that you may want to do? And the other one is on fit, helping you to realize, like, what is the best fit for me? Like, what is the best career fit? What is the best job fit? Because you can find a job that looks great on paper, and then you go in for the interview and the people are not what you think. The environment is not what you think. So you have to think about, well, what type of environment do I want to work in? So do I want a family-centered environment? Do I want an environment that laughs and jokes, but we work hard, we play hard? Do I work in an environment that cares about me as an individual, that believes in fostering professional development, which means it's going to allow you to go to conferences and get you some CEUs and continuing education credits and so forth, and allow you to grow and learn and glean and give you different opportunities for promotion and growth. So like those are all the different things you want to think about as you go into the job. And then you want to ask the questions about, like, what is the type of management style that the boss has and so forth. All these things come into place when it comes to fit. And so those are some of the things that we teach you and we talk about in the Golden Eagles Leaders program that kind of helps you with some of these different things and helping with your career exploration and your different choices and so forth. So I know some of you probably didn't even think about when you're picking a major and picking a job that all these other different factors come into play, but they do, because it helps to think about a whole person. You're not just going in there just to do a job, you're going in there as your whole self. Any questions? I know we said a lot of information in this last hour and 5 minutes, and me and Hannah can kind of go sometimes. We're speed demons when it comes to that. So we want to make sure that we've answered all your questions, see if you have any like concerns or want to know more. We're here to just kind of help and support you with that.
No questions? Oh, looks like we have one in the chat. Oh, no problem. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Yes, we greatly appreciate it. We glad you feel like you're part of a family. That was our goal.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate you guys.
Yep. But yeah, and Hannah and I are going to throw our emails in the chat. So if you have any other questions, or you want to know about different other opportunities, this is only one part of our job. You know, we do a plethora of things. Hannah's over orientation and first year programs and mentorships, and I'm over everything under the sun. So from welcome week to homecoming week to commencement to leadership programs, actual student center space, and so much more. So if you want to know about something, how to get involved, how to join something, we're going to throw our information in the chat for you all. You can reach out to us, ask us what any questions you want, and we'll best help and support you. And then I see that one person asked about the boxing club. Currently, yes, we do have a boxing club right now, but unfortunately they're not doing any type of practices due to COVID. So you can go on to Eagle Life and learn about how to join the organization and kind of get familiarize yourself and get to know the young men. And there's a few young women that's part of it too. So it's not just for the gentlemen, but if some young women that want to do it as well, you can join the organization and shoot them an email and learn more about it. But unfortunately, there are no actual physical pieces of boxing club going on at this moment. Thank you. All right, well, we're not going to hold you. We're going to let you all get back to the rest of you all's day. We know that people are on Zoom for long enough and we don't believe in holding people hostage, but we thank you for spending your afternoon with us. We hope you come back for the next couple of weeks. We have different topics every week, different ways to get you involved and engaged every week. So every week is different, it's not the same. So I know next week we got some fun pieces on different groups and different things around identity. So come back for those. We're happy to work with you all with that. And we're excited about spending time with you. And we're hoping you're enjoying your experience at NLU, even though we're in the midst of quarantine. So thank you, everybody. Have a good afternoon.
So much. Have a great day and be safe.
And be safe.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.